All right, I think we're live. Just want to make sure we're live here. Got the YouTube going. Just going to wait for it to refresh. How's everybody doing today? Make sure this is good. All right, we're good. So, I wanted to try something new today using a different software. So we're going to see how this works out. I got some things to show you, some videos, but I want to talk today about down payment assistance. I think it's a really important topic. It's not talked about enough. It's kind of like one of those things put to the side. So I thought it would be a good idea today to talk a little bit about it, talk about several programs that are available to you. But I want to start off by showing you a quick video on a Hometown Heroes video I made, and also a little excerpt from one of the famous people, Dave Ramsey. So let's take a look. Big news, Florida. The Hometown Heroes program is back and is dropping again August 18th. If you're a teacher, a nurse, a firefighter, police officer, child care worker, military member, or in dozens of other Florida public service jobs, this could be your ticket to home ownership. Here's the deal, up to 5% of your mortgage amount, maxing out at $35,000 for your down payment and closing costs. Zero interest, no monthly payment. You don't have to pay it back until you sell, refinance, or move. So what do you need to qualify? At least a 640 credit score. You need to be a first-time home buyer or a veteran. You're exempt from that rule. Work full-time in an approved Florida job to stay within the county income limits. Up to 150% of the area's median income. That's a lot of money. This program ran out of money really fast last time. With over $100 million in new funding, it's gonna move even quicker this year. Realtors, get your clients ready. Buyers, DM me, Hero, and let's get you pre-approved so you're the first in line when the funds drop on August 18th. Don't wait. This is your chance to finally make home owning happen again. Let's go and let's dial it in. All right. So as you saw there, that's a video I made back in August when Hometown Heroes had a lot of money. So I just wanted to show that, bring it back out there again for you. But a lot of good information there. But today we're going to talk about Hometown Heroes, a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, HomeReady, Home Possible program, and a national down payment assistance program. So let's kick it off. Now, there we go. So let me ask you something. How many people do you know right now who make good money, have stable jobs, pay $2,500, maybe $3,000, maybe more in rent? There's probably a lot of people out there, or you might be raising your hand saying, that's me. And that's okay. But those people still can't buy a home. It's not because they can't afford the payment. They're already making the payment. It's because they can't afford the down payment, right? So when you think about it, most people don't have $20,000, $30,000 in their savings account, not in today's world, right? And that right there is a real barrier between home ownership and renting, in my opinion. It's really what I've been seeing from clients a lot. It's not really the income or the debt to income. It's just having the liquidity to be able to do these things. And today we're going to break down how we can overcome that with these down payment programs, who they're really for, how they work, what the risks are, and how to use them strategically. These programs aren't for people who can't afford homes or people who have down payment. Trust me, there's way better options if you have skin in the game. They're for people who can afford the payment but don't have the entry fee. And if that's you, this episode matters. So I found this video. It's really short. I want to show it to you real quick. It's with Dave Ramsey, just kind of talking about renting and buying. So let me get this real quick and get this up here, and we will kick it off.
People that bought are going to become inordinately more wealthy over the next 3 years than people who rented, because rents are also going through the roof. And so rents are sucking the disposable income out of the renter's budget, where when you buy, because guess what happens to rents? Every year they go up just about. When you buy a house at 6% or 7%, it doesn't go up. It doesn't go up. you're locking in one of your largest expenses. The value of the property is going up because it's not crashing, unless you're in one of those areas we mentioned, right? It's not crashing. Overall, we don't have a 2008 situation, and you're going to become wealth based on home ownership is going to be more and more of a thing. And so what all that is to say is, if you haven't bought a house and you're thinking about buying a house and you're sitting on the sidelines waiting on interest rates to come down, they're not going to come down any minute. And waiting on house prices to come down, they're not going to come down. They're going to go up. You need to go buy a freaking house right now. It's a great time to buy a house. These people are going to become inordinately more wealthy over the next 3 years.
So pretty interesting. And that's one thing I've always told people that, under certain circumstances, yeah, you have to rent. I get it. But at the end of the day is you're not building the equity over time. And a lot of the people out there that are very successful in real estate or homeowners have made a lot of money in real estate are the ones that are vesting into home ownership, because, you buy a house and it appreciates over time, you sell it. You buy a new house, appreciates over time, you sell it, and that's just how the cycle works, right? And then eventually you get to the point where it's paid off, and then, obviously if you sell it at the right time, you're going to make all this money. But let's paint a picture. So let's just say you're buying a $400,000 home. 3.5% down is about $14,000. Add in the closing costs. So you're easily over $20,000 to $25,000 right there. That's the wall buyers are hitting, okay? Not the monthly payment, it's the entry cost. All right, that's what we're going to start calling it, the entry cost. And that's where the strategy begins. So we're going to start talking about this. So let's talk about our national down payment assistance program. So here's the overview for 2026. All right, so when it comes to these, we can offer you anywhere from 3.5% to 5% down payment assistance. They're typically structured as a repayable second lien, but we have options where you don't have to pay it back. But the options are you could have no payment for 30 years on that, but obviously the interest rate's going to dictate that. And then we also have options where it's amortized over 120 months, which is 10 years, and then you're free and clear of that. But the cool thing about those is that it's amortized. So each month that balance goes lower, 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 lower. So if there's an opportunity to refinance out of that, you can have that second lien paid off. So it's almost like you're adding another mortgage insurance payment to get those funds. So the cool thing about these are there's no median income limits for income. So with a lot of the programs, if you make too much money, you don't qualify. As far as the national programs, you can make as much money in the world and you would still qualify for that, which is pretty nice. So the minimum FICO scores for this type of program is 600. However, we do need to get approved eligible results when we run it through Desktop Originator, which is a program basically through Fannie Mae that says, hey, it's prove eligible, looks good. So with those, we have to do that. So we have the 3-year forgivable option. That's a 0% cost. We have other options, but obviously if you have a forgivable option and lower term on it, it's going to be a more expensive payment, but whatever works, we have a bunch of options to see what fits the best. The cool thing is you are allowed to get seller credits on these up to 6%. So if you were to do the 3.5% national down payment assistance program and get 6% seller credits, well, that would cover all the closing costs, buying down the rate, and all the fun things in there. And those are all important things. You could literally buy a house for the cost of an appraisal and an inspection. All right. Now, I will say this, with the lower credit scores, it tends to not approve as easily with somebody with really good credit. So that is something to keep in mind when thinking about these type of programs. All right. So that's what we're talking about today is down payment assistance programs. Our job is to make sure that at the end of the day, you fit one of the variables and we can get you into the home. So what does this mean? It means if you make enough money to qualify but don't have the savings, this program may bridge your gap from renting to owning. Is it free money? No, nothing is ever free. When you see these grants and everything else, everything's always has a basic due clause. So if you refinance or sell the property, typically you got to pay that money back. So I just want to make sure that's very clear. But here's the real question. What's more expensive, waiting 3 years to save or getting into the market now and building the equity? And that's a question I always tell people. People always have a mindset of when they think is the right time to buy. Typically, it's not always accurate in my opinion. So when you're looking at these things such as timeframes, timelines, and everything else, I will tell you right now, if you're in Florida, it is a huge buyer's market right now. Sellers are lowering the prices of homes. You're getting all the seller credits, and everything is going in a great direction for those buyers to get into a housing opportunity. And those are things you got to look at. If your plan is 2 years or 3 years from now, well, if rates are 3% and the housing prices go up, where if you bought a lot lower and got all these seller credits and your rates higher, it's going to wash each other out. So at the end of the day, the rates don't really matter. Now, if you bought the house today while the rates are high and got a great deal and then rates drop, well, marry the house, date the rate. We'll refinance it, get you into that lower payment, no problem, okay? So those are things to keep in mind. So another great program out there. So, man, the funds were dwindling. We were down to like $2.5 million. Apparently $7 million in Hometown Heroes got paid back. So the good news about that is more funds are available. I am working on one right now. The rate is 5.875%. We are doing a 5% grant. We have a 2% credit. Guess what? The buyer has negative money for closing, which we use because you can't get money back in these deals to lower the loan amount. And it's turned out to be a phenomenal deal for our clients. But the Hometown Heroes, let's talk about it. It's for the teacher, the firefighter, the law enforcement officer, the healthcare worker, the first responder, the attorneys out there, veterans, whole bunch of different people qualify for this. As long as you work full-time for a Florida brick and mortar employer, primary residence only, income limits are by county, but the more people you have, because the co-borrower does not have to be a Hometown Hero, the higher the income limits can go. You have to meet the basic standards for an FHA, VA, or a conventional loan, because we could do these for conventional and for condos as well. And you could get up to 5% of the loan amount in assistance. So this program is very powerful. There's no payment on it. The rates are freaking awesome. And it's a really, really great program if you qualify for something like that. It's an easy way to get into that first step of home ownership. The funds are limited. They do come back and trickle in. There are fallouts and everything else like that. But you don't wait on these programs. You got to prepare for them, and you got to be ready, and we can move quick on this. So that's the Hometown Heroes. That one I anticipate will probably last through the end of March, and then it'll be pretty much abolished until they come into more funds. But it's been a great program. It's been helping a lot of people out there that obviously help and serve our communities to get into a home. So amazing program there. I think that's my favorite one out of all of them, to be honest with you. All right. So the last one I want to talk about, because I just had a client yesterday, and I'll tell a little story, but Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have a HomeReady, Home Possible program. Most people don't know about this. So what it does is you do not have to be a first-time home buyer, okay? So a lot of these other programs, I will tell you, you cannot have any home ownership in the last 36 months, all right? So on this program, you do not have to be a first-time home buyer. But what it does is it helps our clients out there that are basically underserved income, right? So they're under 80% of the average median income for that county of where they're looking to buy. So let me tell you a little bit how it works. If, for example, in Naples, the 100% median income is $100,000. If you make $80,000 or less, that's the 80%, then you qualify for this program. So you might be asking, what do you gain from it? Well, you only have to put 3% down, as little as 3% down. The mortgage insurance is dropped. It's slashed. It is very, very affordable and inexpensive. The best part is, with one of my preferred lender partners, is you get 100 basis points off the rate. So it's incredible. I priced one out yesterday, a 770 credit score. It is 10% down. The interest rate was 5.875%, and the APR was only 6.012%. Okay? That's incredible. Actually, it gave them a seller credit. So all my fees were built into there. nothing out of pocket, getting a little bit of credit back plus a normal closing cost. It is a phenomenal deal. That is what these programs are for, to help people who maybe don't make as much money, want to buy under $350,000. We can make it work and do it at a really incredible rate. Even if your credit's not even great, the rates are still good. So I want to keep that program out there on the spectrum. Great for condos, great for first-time home buyers, great for people who have owned a home in the past, maybe a year, 2 years, 3 years, or back in the day, and that just don't make as much money, but they want to have a piece of the American dream, which is home ownership. So it's a great program to definitely get into, and I could definitely help with that too. But that's a real good one. And sometimes they throw incentives out there, like you get $2,500 towards your closing costs. It's all different with everything. But I will tell you, the lender I do have is blowing everybody out of the water on the rates on these. They have some specials on top of that. So there you go. So these programs, so who are they for? All right. As we talked about, these programs are for the renter who might be paying a crazy amount of money each month, the couple who make solid income, but maybe they just had a wedding and they spent their money. All right. Maybe they need some assistance to get them jump-started, growing their family in their lives. The young professional with student loans but has strong earning power. The public servant who's been waiting for the right time. They're not for people who can't afford a home. They're for people who need strategy. And that's the key there. So one thing I talk about a lot is the path to home ownership. All right? The path to home ownership is really, really important to me. I have a whole ebook. Go to my Facebook. It's pinned to the top. Can't miss it. But we build the path for you, right? So step one, we do a full credit review with a soft pull, all right? So we want to make sure that everything looks good. Get your liabilities in. We do everything there. We don't care about the score. Obviously, if it fits, it's great, but we look at the structure. And then two is the debt strategy. What do we need to pay down if we need to? Do we need to leave alone? How do we get our debt to income ratios very strong? And then what does that look like compared to what you're looking to buy? Step three, income analysis. All right. That's the most important part. Make sure your income is calculated correctly. Make sure your income fits the phylum of everything. Is it variable, self-employed, commission-based, draw-based? There's a whole bunch of different things that go into that, right? And then we look at your gross income versus your qualifying income. If you're W-2, your gross income works. If you're self-employed, we use your adjusted gross income, which is after all your deductions. And then step four is finding the right program. Is it the National DPA program? Are you a hometown hero? Is it HomeReady, FHA, VA, commercial, DSCR, non-QM, blah, blah, blah. I got all those programs available for you. And then step five is execution, right? So sometimes you're ready today. Sometimes you're ready in 60 to 90 days. But either way, our job is to set you up with a plan and leave you with a plan and follow up on that plan. And that's the difference between working with somebody like me versus working with a mortgage broker who maybe doesn't care, or it's because your loan amount's not big enough. Actually, I had a client tell me yesterday, they said they talked to 4 different mortgage people. Four. One person said, I only do Naples because I only do loans $700,000 or more. I'm like, what an idiot. The second one said the loan amount was too small. No, thank you. All right. These are people in this industry. And listen, I do about top 1% of production in the country a year. There is no loan too small or loan too hard that I would ever push to the side and say, no, thank you. Okay? That's absolutely absurd bananas to me. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. All right? But these are real people out there and real situations that are going on. And I hear it all the time. It's absolutely absurd to me that people are like, no, I'm good. All right, that puts a good name for you, all right? So I just want to be able to tell people that at the end of the day, we have options to help you. I always tell people that besides new construction, like you want to buy a piece of land, go build on it and do all those things, that's the only thing I don't do. I do everything else. I don't mess with that. It's not my sandbox. I don't even have a lender that's good to even do it with, okay? But besides, I do everything. I have all the options for people. The majority of my business is all the complicated things. Bank statement loans, 1099, asset utilization, asset depletion, DSCR loans, fix and flips, ground up construction, fix and flips, DSCR investor loans, all those different things, okay? But that's the deal, all right? So if you're out there, and realtors do better, do better. Some of the realtors out there are referring people to these mortgage people, and they're destroying the whole experience. And then somehow they find me on Facebook or social media, and I got to lift them up and get them to that point again where they're like excited. All right. So if you're working with a mortgage lender and you're a realtor out there and they're not giving it your all or doing all the things that you need them to do and to make your clients have a great experience, then you got to recheck that. You have to recheck that because it's hurting your business. It's hurting your business. And I will tell you, the realtors I do work with, they are the best people in the world. They are amazing. They are loving, empathetic, caring, and driven. And that's important. So who you work with, 1,000,000% matters. I'll tell you over and over and over again. So if you're renting right now and making good money and you thought you needed 20% down, and I want to say this just so you're not saving up for your lifetime, or someone told you to wait another year, let's run the numbers today. Let's see what it looks like. The people who win in 2026 aren't the ones waiting. They're the ones planning. We'll show you where you stand. We'll show you what's possible, and we'll build your path to home ownership the right way. Because buying a home it's not hype. It's about strategy, and that's what we do. So thank you so much. I'm going to see how this looks on the stream. Otherwise, I'm going to go back to how I used to do it. OBS is a very complicated system, but I appreciate you all so much. And the biggest thing that means the most to me is referrals. So if you know somebody out there that might be renting and you heard this, let's try to get them into a house. Because if that's your friend, family member, or a coworker, you are doing them a great deal of just greatness, okay, of justice. And if you could help somebody get to that level and then see their success through it, it's a freaking awesome feeling. That's what we do. We got to help each other. We have to help each other. And I think that's a really important thing, especially in these times, working with the right people, making sure you have the right team in place, and all the little things that go into it, but also working with a strong mortgage partner is going to make everything much better. So I appreciate you all out there. And if you can, make sure you share this with a friend, family member, or somebody out there who might be renting and might be able to take advantage of these great programs before they run out. God bless. Thank you so much, and we'll see you.